What if the best time to burn belly fat is not at the gym, not on a treadmill, but actually while you're lying in your bed doing absolutely nothing? Scientists have discovered that during specific stages of sleep, your body activates a fat-burning process so powerful that no workout can replicate it. But only if you do these exact things before you close your eyes. Every single morning, millions of people wake up, look in the mirror, and feel frustrated. They went to bed hoping that somehow, overnight, something would change. And the truth is, something actually does change while you sleep. Your body is not just resting. It is working. It is repairing. It is deciding what to do with every calorie you consumed throughout the day. And if you understand how that process works, you can completely transform the way your body handles fat without adding a single extra minute to your workout routine. Let us start from the very beginning, because most people have been taught the wrong thing about fat loss for their entire lives. They believe fat loss only happens when you're moving, when you're sweating, when your heart rate is elevated, when you're actively burning calories. But that is simply not true. Your body burns calories 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even when you are completely still, even when you are unconscious. In fact, the hours you spend asleep are some of the most metabolically active hours your body experiences in an entire day, if the conditions are right. Here is what is actually happening inside your body when you fall asleep. As you enter the deeper stages of sleep, your brain begins releasing a hormone called human growth hormone. This is one of the most powerful fat-burning hormones in the entire human body. Human growth hormone signals your fat cells, particularly the stubborn visceral fat stored deep in your abdomen, to release their stored energy so it can be used as fuel. This process is called lipolysis, and it is essentially your body pulling fat out of storage and burning it for energy while you do nothing but breathe and dream. But here's the critical part that most people completely miss. Human growth hormone is only released in significant quantities during what scientists call slow-wave sleep, which is the deepest and most restorative stage of the sleep cycle. And the amount of human growth hormone your body produces during this stage is directly tied to how well you prepared your body before going to bed. If you made the wrong choices in the hours before sleep, your body produces almost no human growth hormone at all, which means the fat-burning window closes completely, and you wake up having made zero progress. So what kills human growth hormone production before it even starts? The number one enemy is insulin. When your blood sugar levels are elevated at the time you fall asleep, your body releases insulin to manage that sugar. And insulin and human growth hormone cannot operate at the same time. Insulin essentially shuts down the fat-burning process entirely. This is why eating a large meal, especially a meal high in refined carbohydrates or sugar, right before bed is one of the most damaging things you can do for your belly fat. Your body spends the first few hours of sleep dealing with that blood sugar spike instead of activating its natural fat-burning systems. Research published by scientists at the University of Chicago found that people who ate a high-glycemic meal within 2 hours of going to bed had significantly lower human growth hormone levels during sleep compared to people who ate nothing or ate a very small, low-sugar meal. The difference was not small. It was dramatic. The people who ate poorly before bed essentially turned off their fat-burning engine for the entire night. Now let us talk about cortisol, the stress hormone that almost nobody connects to belly fat, but absolutely should. Cortisol is released by your adrenal glands in response to stress. And when cortisol levels are high at nighttime, two terrible things happen simultaneously. First, your body is physically prevented from entering deep, slow-wave sleep, which means human growth hormone production is blocked. Second, cortisol itself actively promotes fat storage, specifically in the abdominal region. This is why people who are chronically stressed tend to carry the most stubborn belly fat. Their cortisol levels are elevated around the clock, and their bodies are biologically programmed to store fat around the organs as a survival response. The solution is not complicated, but it requires consistency. In the 90 minutes before you go to bed, your goal is to bring your cortisol levels down as aggressively as possible. This means avoiding screens that emit blue light, because blue light signals your brain to produce cortisol and suppresses the production of melatonin, the hormone that initiates sleep. It means avoiding stressful conversations, news, or emotionally stimulating content. It means creating a dark, cool environment in your bedroom, because research consistently shows that sleeping in a room between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit causes your body to activate brown adipose tissue, a special type of fat that actually generates heat by burning stored white fat for energy. Let us talk about what brown adipose tissue actually is, because this is one of the most exciting discoveries in metabolic science of the last decade. For most of human history, scientists believed that adults had almost no brown fat, that it existed only in babies to help them regulate their body temperature. But more recent research has completely overturned that assumption. Adults do have brown fat, and it is located primarily in the neck, around the collarbone, and surrounding the spine. And unlike white fat, which simply stores energy, brown fat burns energy. It is metabolically active. It runs on a process called thermogenesis, meaning it generates heat by consuming calories. And the single most powerful trigger for brown fat activation is cold temperature. When you sleep in a cool room, your body's brown fat activates to maintain your core temperature. This process burns calories throughout the night completely passively. A study conducted by the National Institutes of Health found that participants who slept in a 66-degree Fahrenheit room for just 4 weeks increased their brown fat volume by 42% and improved their insulin sensitivity significantly, both of which are directly tied to faster belly fat reduction. Now, let us address sleep duration, because this is where a massive portion of the population is sabotaging themselves without even knowing it. When you sleep fewer than 7 hours per night, your body releases significantly higher levels of ghrelin, the hormone that triggers hunger, and significantly lower levels of leptin, the hormone that tells you that you are full and satisfied. The practical result of this hormonal imbalance is that the following day, you will eat on average 300 to 500 more calories than you would have eaten after a full night of sleep. And those extra calories are driven overwhelmingly by cravings for high sugar, high fat foods, exactly the foods that cause the most fat storage around your midsection. Sleep deprivation also directly impacts your body's ability to use insulin effectively. When you're chronically underslept, your muscle cells become resistant to insulin, which means glucose that should be going into your muscles for energy is instead being converted to fat and stored. Scientists at the University of Pennsylvania demonstrated that just 5 nights of sleeping 5 hours or fewer caused measurable insulin resistance in healthy adults. Insulin resistance that took weeks to fully reverse even after returning to normal sleep patterns. There is also a deeply underappreciated connection between sleep quality and your gut microbiome. The trillions of bacteria living in your digestive system that play a central role in metabolism, inflammation, and fat storage. Research from the Weizmann Institute of Science found that poor sleep patterns caused significant negative shifts in gut bacteria composition within just 2 nights. These shifts led to increased intestinal permeability, commonly known as leaky gut, which causes systemic inflammation. And systemic inflammation is one of the most powerful drivers of visceral belly fat accumulation, because your body stores fat around the organs as a protective response to inflammatory signals. The practical implication of all this research is remarkably straightforward. If you want to maximize the fat burning that happens while you sleep, you need to do 4 things consistently. You need to stop eating at least 2 to 3 hours before bed so that your insulin levels drop before you fall asleep. You need to lower the temperature in your room to activate your brown fat. You need to protect your final 90 minutes before sleep from blue light, stress, and cortisol triggers. And you need to commit to a minimum of 7 to 8 hours of actual sleep every single night. Not just time in bed, but real, deep, restorative sleep. These are not suggestions. These are biological requirements for your fat-burning hormones to do their job. Every night that you skip these steps, your body spends those 8 hours storing fat instead of burning it. Every night that you follow them, your body becomes a fat-burning machine while you are completely unconscious. The choice is made before you even close your eyes. Most people spend years fighting their body, forcing it to change through sheer willpower and exhaustion. But your body already has the tools to burn fat on its own. It has had them since the day you were born. The only thing standing between you and the results you want is understanding how those tools work, and then getting out of your own way long enough to let them do their job. Sleep is not wasted time. Sleep is when the real work happens. If this changed the way you think about fat loss, do not let that feeling disappear. Subscribe right now so you never miss a video, because every single week we break down the science of fat loss in a way that nobody else is talking about. Drop a comment below and tell us, how many hours of sleep are you actually getting each night? Your answer might explain everything. And share this video with one person who needs to hear it tonight.